Alright, ladies and gents, we're just about ready to jump live into map number 2 between Flipsid and Virtus.Pro. It was a very rough first map, if you weren't here, with Flipsid destroying VP 16-5 on Cobblestone. A scoreline that I honestly never saw happening. And interesting enough, obviously I couldn't see it because I was casting this game, but apparently Hellraisers beat Na'Vi on the mainstream too, so it's been a day of upsets here in the EPL. And VP will be hoping that they can somewhat remedy the situation. Train's another map that you expect VP to win on. But the way they played that last map, that's one of the worst performances I've seen from VP in recent memory. So, I don't know. If that continues, this could easily be a 2-0. VP are in a very sketchy position when it comes to the EPL now anyway. They're currently in about 9th, 8 wins, 11 losses. And that was only Flipside's second win in 15 games. Just to put things in perspective, Flipside are rock bottom of the league right now, even with that win. So, goes to show how much of an upset that actually was. And it wasn't just the fact they lost that game, it's the manner in which they lost. That really, honestly, baffled me somewhat. But here we go. We're going to be live into the second map now with VP on the CT side. This, a map that they historically have been good on. When Train first kind of graced us in the competitive pool, it was really VP that were firing away. Let's see if it can be another bedrock once again for them. Snacks was really the only player that did anything significant on that first map. Neo had a great play, but other than that, Neo was very much an absent member. And there we go, of course, the first frag going to go his way after I've said that. See if VP can turn it up here. Bjarly missing out bullets after each other, but to be honest, so does Blade. So that's one of the awkwardest confrontations that we have seen today. Blade will be put down finally. He had about 1 health, I think, up to that point. Electronic, who's proved to be quite the trialist so far for Flipside with 2 headshots, bringing this round back to a 3-on-3. Flipside have time, they have the bomb, and they still have a smoke. So their options certainly are open as it stands. Markelov going to be moving in through team aim, but there is Pasha, probably the most absent member of VP on that first map. It's going to come in and he gets picked off, and Flipside are looking to do it again. This pistol should really have gone the way of VP. They picked up the first 2 frags, and now it's suddenly on Taz. You can hear footsteps to his right-hand side. There's the first one tap, looking for the second, but Electronic will get the upper hand, and Flipside will take the round for themselves, 1-0. Again, guys, if you're complaining about video desync, refresh the stream. It will fix that issue. It's an issue with Twitch. I'm not sure why. I have no idea why that's came in, but trust me, refresh the stream. It'll fix your problems. So VP let that pistol slip away. Bjarly in Pop Dog. Pasha with the Deagle. And you got Neo in the meanwhile with the Scout. So, as far as 4 spies go, this isn't too shabby for the Poles. But can they get the frags is the question. They're up against 3 SMGs. All UMPs. Very solid. Also suggest, normally if you see the Mac 10, it's going to be more of an aggressive play with the extra bullets and just the faster fire speed. UMP more of the all-purpose SMG. See the foot betrays Bjarly. Rip in Pop Dog, good sir. Taz, typically the B player for Virtus.Pro, is going to be there once again with the CZ. Expect to see that more in the future. Pasha lands the 1-tap onto World Edit. That's one of the SMGs dead and buried. Markelov in the meanwhile through onto the site, and the lone B defender has been neutralized. Forced bomb plant. And VP, it wouldn't surprise me a great deal if they actually just backed away a couple of these players and tried to save. I think they're going to go in for this one, though. They feel like they've got a good chance. If they lose this next player, though, I'd expect maybe the attempt at a save. Pasha does get the upper hand. There's no avenging frag for Flipside. What is going on? Waylander's all by his lonesome. They've got 2 players at the back on box walls. But this is allowing now the CTs to get some frags, and it's going to be on Electronic. He's got 3 kills so far, 11 bullets in the gun, is worried about reloading. But Snacks is going to pull back and save a Galil. And Electronic probably will die to this bomb. It's going to be very close. Oh, is he going to survive? Yes, he is. Just about keeps that AK. Sprinting for his life. Snacks with the Galil. Decent-ish recovery. But Flipside keep their winning ways. One of the reasons why I thought they may back off is they had a scout and they had 2 pistols with Kevlar. I mean, that then allows them to have a pretty good fighting chance into this round. But I can understand in the 4-on-3, they felt as though the chance was there to just charge in and retake the site. So it's fair play. They do still save anyway. Look how aggressive Pasha's pushed up the alleyway there. He gets silenced, but I can kind of dig that. I mean, he doesn't have much into this round, and it's effectively a throwaway round anyway for the VP side, so why not? Go for looking for some info, see if you can land yourself a cheeky headshot. Try and convert that into the round. But now VP will be backing away again. That's going to be into the hands of Blade, who's going to get the 1 kill with the UMP, and then trade hands into the counter-terrorists, but that's all they're going to get out of this round. May not even get that, to be fair. Neo around the back is actually going to flag himself potentially 2 frags. He's got the Mac 10 now, just switching away for the more bullets. Neo, in the meanwhile, on the other side of the train. Both on 6 health. Next bullet wins this confrontation. Wins this duel. And it's going to go the way of Neo. And then switches back to the UMP. The better of the SMGs, of course. Interesting that Blade's UMP has Dignitas stickers on it. Why not, I guess? Narrowly misses out on the frag, but Flipside will once again take a 3-0 lead. This is how Cobblestone started. And I think it was about 5-0 before VP picked up their first round on Cobblestone. So this rifle round is of paramount importance, of course, on Train. You really do need one of those AWPs in play. This time it's going to be on Neo. It was Snacks who was AWPing on Cobblestone throughout. Delay of in-game sounds, but casting is fine. Try a refresh, boys. It's a known issue with Twitch. Hopefully the refresh helps. Anyway, here we go. Once again, this round really is VP's chance to get back in this. But look, it's going to be Taz on B by himself. There's no one even close to him. It's not as if they had a player in connector. And now Neo is going to be coming in, but is it too little too late? The terrorists are all going to be exploding onto the site, but Taz is going to get 1 frag and drop the bomb. They're going to get a second one as well. This is unreal. Taz, take a bow. That was pretty sick. B holding by yourself. And he stopped the push for long enough to allow Snacks to come in now, who picks up the AWP from Neo's corpse and delivers 2 AWP shots, keeping VP in the early stages of the map. They're going to transition across with the weapons. But man, that was looking so sketchy for a couple of seconds with Taz on B by himself. And they already had 3 players going out. They had 2 up on the catwalk and 1 down ramp. So yeah, Neo had the cross from connector, but if Taz doesn't land those first couple of frags, the bomb would have got swarmed and things would have got pretty sketchy for Virtus.Pro. Flipside, though, as a result of their heavy investment in the previous rounds, have only got P250, so they're not going to be falling back onto any kind of a buy. That's as a result of a lot of the SMGs and the assault rifles being taken away in the previous 2 rounds. And there should be a complete capitulation for Flipside's. Electronic was the only kill coming through, and that will remain the case. Virtus.Pro already showing way more life than they did on Cobblestone. I'm not exactly sure on the maths regarding the league right now, but VP are in that kind of position where if they lose another map or 2, I think is what Colbolt said in the chat, I think if they lose another map or 2, like, they mathematically can't qualify. So, I was kind of mentioning this before, that against Flipside, they would have definitely been wanting the 2-0. I mean, there's just absolutely no other way about it, you know? So losing that first map is a huge body blow for VP's chances of getting to the offline finals. So it's so important they can at least take this one down. Currently they've got 8 wins, 11 losses in the league. Just to put things in perspective. Pasha whizzing bullets above the heads of the 2 alley pushes. That's going to be both Markelov and World Edit. They did go for the boost as well. And right now VP are playing fairly passively up on Ivy's side. Meanwhile, once again, Tass is on the site. Neo's actually got his back this time for a potential fast play. Ooh. Ooh, first bullet just narrowly misses out for World Edit, and that's a missed opportunity that is going to force him back into the embracing arms of Markelov, who will be laid in wait. Markelov is a player that will have the AWP around this part of the map when the roles are reversed. When they get on the CT side, they do love running with those double AWP setups. For VP, I do wonder, or for Flipside I should say, I do wonder if Electronic coming into the team will change that or not. One player can have quite a resounding change for a team, so we'll just have to wait and see. That being said, though, Pasha has moved his way into the smoke. Markelov's still there. Only about 25 seconds left into the round, so Flipside have got to get a move on here. There's a chance they're going to time themselves out of this one. Markelov should have the upper hand on the Pasha, who goes charging through. I've got to question why. You know the time is scarce and low. You don't really need information at that point. You know the hit's about to come in. And on the flip side, off the back of that opening pick, I'm going to be able to plant this bomb. And again, I don't understand pushing there with about 15 seconds to go. Will that it now takes down Neo. And Taz has to back away. Goes back in for seconds. He's going to land the one frag. He's going to go for broke hit and a second one, but not clean. He's down to 49 health. And a third! This can't be possible! Taz on the brink of clutching this round, but Markelov hiding towards the CT side is able to put him down. Valiant attempt courtesy of Taz, but just too many players to find. And again, I've just got a question. Yeah, Pasha's got 7 frags, but what the actual hell was that lurk with 15 seconds to go? If that's like with a minute to go, maybe I could excuse it. He wanted information, he wanted a little bit of scouting for his team, but at that point, just sit in deep and get crossfires down. I don't know. Let's just let it go. So another buy for VP, and it's going to see Taz play aggressive in the box halls and actually will get the up hand onto Waylander, so a pretty decent trade. He does lose 38 health, but certainly worthwhile. Flip side, keeping themselves in the lead. I mean, sure, Pasha made a mistake, but you can't take away Flipside's entry fragging at the end there. It was pretty solid. I mean, they were working down to about 5 seconds, I think, before that bomb started going down. And now, it looks like they will be initiating onto the B side of the map. They still got themselves a couple players over in T main, so maybe he's going to try and sell out the fake here. The other two are going to be coming down Pop Dog. It's a key frag for Markelov. It keeps the dreams alive, at least in this round. Meanwhile, Taz is going to be trying to scurry his way around the back of Flipside. So they have to get themselves in very quickly here. They can't afford to wait around for too much longer. Electronic point blank range is going to deliver a headshot, but he goes down afterwards, and there is the double frag. Markelov also actually taking down Electronic, so that's a little bit awkward. But Electronic was incredibly low, so you can let them off for that one. And our Flipside will be into an eco themselves. So VP have held on. And a lot of that was set up from Taz's early aggression with the UMP. That frag really did funnel him off into sort of 2-2 formation execute, which just completely proved to be toothless. TK, lol. That's kind of an awkward moment there. So Flipside waiting for this. Oh, I was about to say waiting for the volley to clear, but that grenade is absolutely wrecked them in Snacks and Pasha. Shoot fish in a barrel, easy kills across the board. VP on point again. And what's so depressing for VP is that they've almost already equalised the total amount of rounds they got on Cobblestone. How sad is that? Flipside don't have much to offer in this round either, so now VP have the chance to actually take the lead after losing the pistol. Yeah, I'm reading chat. I'm solo casting, so I'm treating you guys as co-casters. Just got back from an event, so my voice is wrecked as well, so I'm doing what I can, boys. Oh, Markov! Jeez. If he didn't get shot in the head, he'd have broke his neck. You see how he landed? It's 0 out of 10 landing. Look painful. Blade is in. USP to the dome. He's going to silence him. VP take the lead, and it's the second consecutive flawless round without losing a single player. So their economy now into a pretty good place. bring Days to cast you, please. Right, mate. I'll just I'll call him up on my phone. You know. Yeah, I'll get him right in. So flip side, you can see they lost the last 3 rounds, but in the last 6 they've only won 1. So it goes to show the power of the pistol and the subsequent rounds. Electronic trying to use this smoke to his advantage, but Snacks is going to go right on the cusp of the smoke and deliver the headshot and finish it off onto Markelov's. Bjarly's there, and this is more like the VP of old. This is more like the VP that have this reputation of being horrendous to play against. World Edit is still alive, and he performed very well. He hit over 20 frags in the first map. He still has time, still has the AWP, and he still has plenty of health. The Blade, or Bjarly, pardon me. Yeah, Blade is going to drop him. Brilliant, Vince. Sick casting, bruv. Bjarly's going to drop him on the cross, and VP just continue their momentum. Now have more rounds than they got on Cobblestone. If you guys didn't see that map, it honestly was the worst I've seen VP probably play at least for 6 months. I can't think of another time that I've watched them or casted them and they've been that poor. It was unbelievable. When will Val finally buy you from Major? That's never going to happen, dog. I don't know, bro. I don't know. We'll see. So Snacks flirting with the idea of pushing in. That grenade actually does serious damage. Markelov and World Edit, you can see the health just plummet down to below half for Markelov, just over for World Edit. And now Bjarly maybe thinking about finishing them off. M4 spray down's going to run out of bullets, switches to his sidearm, but that's going to cost him his life. World Edit is at least good for the 1 kill. And there's still a deagle in the hands of Markelov, who comes in with 2 beautiful 1-taps. Right off, the first one was easy enough. Snacks was stationary, but that second one was disgusting. And now he could be just 2 bullets away from a round win out of nowhere. He spots Taz, does connect the shot, but it's not. The headshot goes back in for seconds. He's landed so many deagle shots in this round. After he lands that second 1-tap, man, you just want him to win. That is nuts. Markelov. Unreal. Waylander, who had a pretty solid performance on Cobblestone, 1-11. That's rough. Knocking, what's up? Do you enjoy casting? Of course, love it. Yeah, I think the NT in chat is very much worthwhile. Although, to be fair, if he'd have pulled it off, I would have probably lost the voice because I would have been screaming. So, thank you, Markelov, for having that in mind. I appreciate it, bro. You have my back. Once again, VP with the Taz and Neo partnership. This time Neo doesn't have the AWP. In the previous few rounds he did. He was on the connector side with the AWP. Now Snacks has picked up himself. That incendiary perfectly timed. Actually lands on the feet of Electronic. Forces him back. Now Neo's going to go in. Jumping in for the frag. And I think Electronic was switching out from the flashbang. So very unfortunate timing. Tazna, meanwhile, is going to get jumped over by Waylander. It's going to cost him his life. Assumes that no one would be down there. And this is a fantastic hold, with Neo and Taz picking up 4 of the 5 frags, Snacks with the other one. And a textbook B defense. It was a bit scrappy. It was a little bit iffy at points, but VP get the job done. And now they move on to 6 consecutive rounds. They've won 8 of the last 9. And when you look at that scoreboards, Pasha, who I think finished on 7 or 8 frags on the first map, has already got 14. 14 and 6. He's been doing a much better job on this one. They're both cool, Pedro. They're both enjoyable. Obviously, I'd say this is a little bit more tough to cast because you're on your own. So, if the match is fairly slow-paced and not much is happening, especially as a player-play caster, it can be very rough indeed. So, we'll let it's only on the Tech 9. A lot of their prowess on the T side actually did come off the back of Will Edit's picks, so that could really hurt them here into this one for Flipside. This caster talks too much. That's the next level dribble. So 3-player formation around Ivy. Positions the terrorists probably wouldn't guess. I mean, Pasha hasn't been here so far. It is a corner you typically check, though. And they have 2 mollies left, one of which is in the hands of Markolov, who could throw this in behind the smoke. He's actually going to throw it into the Ivy side instead. So now Pasha is in such a good position to land this first frag. He's seen the barrel of the gun sticking through. For some reason, Blade checks behind him. Maybe because the flash was coming in from his teammate. I'm not entirely sure what the idea was behind that, but now it's down to Electronic for some big entry frags. Can get the 1, but not the 2nd, and I will let it with the Tech 9. Has to try and make some magic happen. He switches across to the AK. It's going to get himself killed, and now Markolov in a 1-on-4. Well, that is going to be a rip. VP from strength to strength on their CT side are now looking unstoppable. Snaps with 15 frags, but 7 assists. Involved with a whole bunch of frags. Do you play CSGO yourself? Yeah, absolutely. Loved me some CS. What rank am I? Global Elite. Yeah, but that's why I said it's kind of dribble, right? Oh my god, this commentator's commentating. What's going on? Great banter. It really is. Yeah. Waylander's 1 and 13 and Blaze 2 and 13. That is a little bit rough to read. Markolov down to Pasha, who seems to have regained a bit of confidence from his previous missteps. Switching across, there's the headshot to Electronic, and this is quickly getting out of control. Said that VP will be firm favourites coming into train. Nice 1-tap for World Edit, although it took him 3 or 4 attempts there in the end. And meanwhile, Snack's got a knife on Blade. Why the hell not? VP now on the cusp of actually returning the favour. The first half was 10-5, Flipside on Cobblestone, so maybe they're about to return the favour or even go 1 step further. You have a twin Anders. Yeah, it's Anders, bro. Come on. Snacks taking the early damage. Double op setup. Interestingly, not Neo, who was using it early on. It's going to be Pasha instead. And both ops on... What? Both on ops on Ivy's side. Okay, why not, I guess. I definitely expected one of the ops to be over on the B side of the map here. Maybe assuming that Flipside would go for an execute onto the site, which would effectively negate one of the ops at least. Pasha, the only player with the op now on VP, as Snacks has gone down first. I wonder if this double op is actually going to cost them this round. The bomb's been dropped in such a bad position though. Blade going in alone, dropping the bomb there. It's an absolute nightmare. Fortunately for Flipside, Will that it has came back with at least 1 frag, make it 2, and continues to be a beacon of hope for the terrorists. 4 kills in this round. He's on for the ace, and he's surely about to spot Taz. Did just tag him partially through the wall, so Taz drops to 30 health. And Will Did It now actually is the only player left alive. It's either going to be an ace or it's going to be a clutch. And Taz and also Will Did It exchange a couple more shots, and Will Did It will get the clutch, bringing back a 5th round for Flipside on the first half. Taz tried his best, but it just fell short. And what a fantastic round for Will Did It. 4 op frags and finishing it off with his sidearm. 10-5. Where am I from? Northeast of England. Near Newcastle. Let me just get a drink real quick, boys. 1 sec. UKCS, lol. Yeah, it's pretty rough, isn't it? You're from Newcastle too, that's good. It's called you Brew for some reason. Bro is what I was going for. Do you own a CSGO knife caster? Yes, I have a butterfly fade. That's a sexy knife, come on. Most fade knives are pretty sexy though, to be fair, especially if you get a decent looking one. Aria accent. I'm not entirely sure that's how it works. Blind wiki, but yeah. One day I'll cast you. Kimirov. Or Kimiro. Kimiro. Man, I feel like I'm wrecking that name. Keep it up, dude. What am I drinking? I'm boring. I'm just drinking water. No, I know. I don't sound like I'm from Newcastle. I was born here, but I moved around a lot when I was a kid because my dad was in the military. But now I live here again. I think I've got like a pretty neutral accent overall. There's certain words I might say that sound like I'm a northerner, but by and large it's going to be pretty neutral. The stream is running slow. I've late streaming. I assume what you're talking about is the sound. If you have sound issues, guys, just refresh the stream and I'll fix it. If you mean that the stream's taking a while to get going, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just waiting for the teams. You can see right now they're in a warm-up. I like to just leave the warm-up in the background rather than hitting you know, an AFK screen because it's not quite as enjoyable to watch. Am I Turkish? No, sir. What's your favourite knife in the game? That's pretty rough. What I would say is, one of my favourites, I don't know if it is my favourite, if you check out Rubino from Dignitas, he has an emerald karambit, which is unbelievably nice. I'm sure if you like Google that, it'll probably pop up somewhere. It's such a sick looking knife, and I think he's got stat track too, which is amazing. Hey, there's not too much I can do about warm-up taking a while, boys. But looks like we're about to get back underway again. Second pistol round. And it's going to be coming up with VP now taking a commanding lead and looking to at least equalise this series, which I still feel will be a huge disappointment, but a whole lot better than an 0-2. Yeah, it's a Gamma Doppler, but I think like the term for it is an emerald, which is so sick. Here we go though. Pasha's going to land the first headshot, and he hasn't really been that prevalent in the pistol round so far, so awesome that Pasha would finally start to make a mark in these rounds. Instantly afterwards, the smoke starts to connect on the B site. You can see Waylander's trying to wrap himself round into connector, get something done. Bjarli's going to be tapping, gets the upper hand in the long-range confrontation against Electronic. He's been pretty solid with the USP so far, but look, it's going to be Flipside with all the latest frags, and that's going to put them in a pretty good position now in this pistol round. Snacks holding the close angle, doesn't have a USP to play with, so he's using the Glock at close range, which can be so detrimental to the health of the CTs, and Neo lands the final kill. VP going to take it, but jeez, that was back and forth. Could have gone either way, hanging by a thread. And that should surely be Virtus.Pro now, just rolling the snowball down the hill. Surely Flipside can't come back from this. I mean, it's VP. How do you deal with this on the T side? Typically their T side is so deadly on train. Well, Edit only gets hit for 15. It's looking like it could have been a hell of a lot more from that grenade. 3 for 16 for both Waylander and Blades. What is happening? There's World at close range, also tapping through the smoke. Realising there's a likelihood there'll be a second player there. Not able to connect it, and now he's going to get forced down by Taz with his UMP, who's going to get a third kill on top of everything else. And the brutal round continues. VP 12-5 to the good. Flipside will have no buy here. And this is honestly very reminiscent of the first map, except for just polar opposite in terms of which team faces off in which situation. It was 12-5 in the first map with VP trailing. And I said at the time that it was all ebbing and flowing from that first rifle round when VP would be able to grab some assault rifles, and that's very much the situation that Flipside find themselves in now. This round should be a gimme for Virtus.Pro, but it's going to be the next one where Flipside try and battle back. Oh, Neo nearly gets his life taken away from courtesy of a switch from the weapon. Marklov, last player remaining, has the MP9, because why the hell not? Down he goes. Here we go, 13-5. It's all on this. Flip side, need to win this rifle round or it's all over. In my opinion, at least. Of course, it's not technically all over, but I just don't see how they come back if they lose this round. What AK skin do I have? Redline. I think the Redline and Cartel are both really sick AK skins if you don't want to invest too much money into them. So, flip side into this with an AWP. But such a lack of grenades. Look at this, with so much time left, and we've only had about 10 or so seconds of the round. And they have 2 flashes left. I had a smoke, they've just thrown that out onto ramp, I believe. No kits, they're just going off raw firepower. One misstep, and this round should very briskly go across the VP. And this will be Pasha out of the smoke with the back 10. And meanwhile, Bialy's going to do some serious pain with his AK-47. That Molotov, unbeknownst to Pasha, actually forces away World at its AWP. And the bomb has been planted. What do you even say about this map? I mean, Flipside have gone from heroes to zeros, and VP have finally woken up. Trying desperately to hold on to this AWP and M4. They've got kind of a crossfire to one another. Neo just running around knifing the net is going to find out that's maybe not the greatest of ideas when you don't know where the last 2 CTs are. But now one of them has been found out, and Pasha's going to have the exact same idea. Why the hell not? He did have a back 10, so it's not a huge problem to lose that to this round. And it did allow Bialy to land the headshot afterwards. Snacking here around the corner, looks to spray down, and Flipside will keep no weapons. That's going to make this very tenuous situation a whole lot worse. AK blue laminate. I don't know, Pedro. It's a little bit meh to me. I just love the colour scheme on the red line. Sick. Same with the AWP as well. Looks really good. So, a FAMAS is all that Flipside have in terms of primaries. And that is going to be put to good use. Will let it go in for a second one. Finally gets picked off. And meanwhile, Markov is going to be coming head to head with Taz. Will find the same fate. Waylander able to pick up the AK, but I don't think he's moved off 3 kills, has he? Yes, he has. Pardon me. He's on 4 instead. And now he's going to have to nearly double his digits if he wants to clutch this round. As the first, but no more, will be picked up from this. Snacks has the AWP in hand. 15-5 VP. This would be the throw of the century if they didn't win from this point. Is this Richard Lewis? I'm like Richard Lewis and Anders Lovechild. So Markov and Walden up with the 2 AWPs. Kind of touched on this earlier. They had to run this setup. Typically Markov is around connector. Walden on the Ivy side. And so many grenades actually being exchanged between the 2 teams. It's going to find Snacks maybe thinking about pushing through this smoke. And indeed, he will get the drop onto Blade. You just don't expect Norpa to do that. You know, he's making a move. This is such ballsy play by Snacks. I'm surprised I don't hear, like, the grating of his balls on the ground. Because they're quite clearly iron. And now Snacks already up on the green tree. That's the next frag onto Markalo. That is unbelievable. Misses out on the flick onto Waylander, but at least information has been gathered. Throws out the grenade and the Molotov, so Waylander's going to have to relocate. In doing so, hoping he'd walk into Taz. That's exactly what happens. And our last remaining player is going to be Electronic, and Snacks finishes it off in style. Virtus.Pro, you just saw the Jekyll and Hyde of Virtus.Pro. Cobblestone was an absolute mess, and Train was prolific. 1-1 goes the series. I don't even know what to say about that series. It was so unbelievably strange to watch. Virtus.Pro just it seemed as though they were playing on 10% in that first map. And the second one, they turned it up to like 90%, and it was unbelievable to see the change. Anyway, that's the first 2 maps down. We have Penta and Envious coming up next, as you can see there, which will be starting shortly, I assume. So I'm going to get myself a drink. I suggest you guys do the same thing if you want to stick around and watch this. There should also be another match on the main stream if you want to head across to there. And I will catch you guys in a few moments. I'll give you updates if I find out anything else about how long it's going to take in chat, or I'll just go live again. But until then, I'm going to switch back to music, so I'll be right back.